Good afternoon. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa. And today we have a special show for you lined up. We're actually got invited and we're in their compound. So I would like for you to introduce yourself, please.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for coming, Katsana. My name is Becky and I'm the CEO of Deborah Foundation. And thank you guys for coming here and visiting us.
Thank you for having us. Now, she did say Deborah Foundation. So, of course, our first question is going to be, what is the Deborah's Foundation and why you thought it was important to start this foundation?
So Deborah Foundation is a non-profit organization that was established in 2019. It was open because my sister was born with Down syndrome and she had the chance to go outside and do her checkups, do her therapy and everything. But other kids don't get this chance because there's not a lot of services here in Ethiopia. And so we decided to open Deborah Foundation, and it mainly works on policy advocacy, health and education for these children, especially for kids with Down syndrome and other intellectual disabilities.
There is no knowledge at all in the country. There is no therapy, there is no assistant teachers, there is no behavioral developmental doctors in the medical centers. So need to start from the scratch.
For our audience, so they would be clear of what Down syndrome is, if you could just explain to them what it is.
Down syndrome is a genetic condition that occurs when there is an extra copy of chromosome 21, and this extra copy creates the abnormalities and the facial characteristics and the developmental delays. And these facial characteristics include the slanted upward eyes, short neck, small ears, small nose and small hands, and also other health defects such as heart problem and a lot of other health defects.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm sure like everything else, Down syndrome has its own myth and facts. Mm-hmm. Can you please describe those for us?
So Down syndrome can occur on anyone, but usually it's because of a genetic, as I said earlier. But when a mom is older in age and she gives birth, sometimes they have Down syndrome. And the myth is they say it's because you did something like in our culture in Ethiopia, they say if you do any sin, you have you get children like this, or if our families did any sin before then you give birth to.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is very wrong. Anyone can have a Down syndrome child, and it happens to anyone. It doesn't choose economic status, it doesn't choose race, it doesn't choose any religion. So it occurs in any family.
What are the unforeseen challenges following diagnosis, and is there an early intervention?
Unforeseen challenges. It could be when any mom give birth, they don't even tell them that she has a Down syndrome child. They say she's sick, or they don't even explain to them at the hospital. And even when Deborah was born, there was no ultrasound. We didn't know she had Down syndrome. We knew after she was born. We didn't even know anything about Down syndrome, even the word. And a lot of people think there's cure, but there's no cure. There's early intervention, as you said. They can be helped through therapy and like physical therapy, occupational therapy, and behavioral therapy. This can make their lives easier, but there's no treatment.
So we're going to be staying on the same subject because I want to understand what the difference is between early intervention and therapy. Because when I was reading, I think a lot of moms, parents thought they were the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe by differentiating it and making us understand.
Early intervention, the goal is for parents or a mom so they can address the problem earlier, like they can even know the problem. You can know what the child has, if he has any developmental delays, and the goal is to address the problem early for children and infants. So and therapy is a form of early intervention.
Now we're in Ethiopia, and you first mentioned that because Deborah was lucky, she was able to go abroad and have a few things checked up and taken care of. Now, when we come back to Ethiopia, to start with, when a woman is pregnant, is there a way that she can know before she gives birth? Because I know at 6 months, there's a procedure that you're supposed to do to find out if your child has any issues.
True.
So that's one of the questions. And then if we do have it and the mom knows, what are the decisions that she's going to have to make?
There's a way you can know if your child has Down syndrome or not. So even autism is harder to check with ultrasound, but the Down syndrome, you can see their facial features on the ultrasound, their nose, and they won't have a bone over here, so that would be visible on the ultrasound.
Okay.
So the other question is the decision the mom makes. Usually,
that's very hard.
Usually they keep the baby because a lot of moms, they have babies at an older age, so and that baby might come after a lot of trying to conceive. So. And I personally don't agree with the abortion, like with the, because Down syndrome or not, that baby is a baby.
Exactly.
Yes. So and they can have a normal life. They can live a normal life. They can go to school like everyone else. They can work, and they understand everything. They're beautiful. They're lovable, and especially because I have a sister, like I know her behavior.
It's a very hard because I've had people that I know that have gone through that procedure and found out that there was a problem with the child, and like you said, you don't make that decision. You just say that's fine. I was given this child, and I will take care of it.
Yes.
So now, being in Ethiopia with the lack of local expertise, on top of that, treating and caring for children with Down syndrome, I think is very hard. So when you have a child with Down syndrome, how helpful is the medical industry? Do we even have, because I tried to find out how much the population is, even around Africa for that matter, and it's actually growing. So how do we help as a country?
The medical facility is not very friendly for this type of children. Even they don't get the first chances. They say their normally developed children should get the first attention, not this kids. Even for surgeries and everything, the other kids gets the first chance, and the kids with Down syndrome, they don't get the chance. So they die. The heart surgery and anything, this ones get the first chance. So, and even the society is not ready to accept this kind of kids. Yes, even at the hospital, some mothers, they told us, the doctors, when they ask what they should do, they tell them that they should take away this unuseful kids. They're unuseful, they're unwanted. Yes, and it's very hard for mothers here in Ethiopia.
It has to be, because we're talking about the city. Because I haven't gone into the rural.
Yes.
And my next question actually is that. So I guess they don't have a chance.
They do not have a chance, but they come here to Deborah Foundation from very far away, from Harar, from Duredwa, from Mekali, from everywhere. They come to Deborah Foundation, and they asked us how they can get any treatments there, any support. And we are planning to open Deborah Foundation in rural areas in the future after this is very strong, and so that's our plan. And we also appreciate if anyone else opens this same kind of institutions. Right? Yes, we can't be the only one helping. It won't be enough. There are a lot of kids, and there are kids being born till now. It's not stopping. Yes.
But this is the thing. You can't stop it. It's not something that we could just say, okay, from now on we're not going. We can't do that. This is something, that happens whether we like it or not. So the best way to do is educate. What we should do is, you as a foundation should educate us, and we should educate the rest of the population.
That's true.
Yeah. So one of the things, here we are at the new school that you guys opened.
Yes.
So if you could pretty much tell us what it is that you plan on, because it's a very big compound.
Yes.
So I feel like you might even have dorms at some point where people from rural areas could come and, maybe go to school. I'm not sure, but
yes,
if you could describe.
I'll tell you. So yeah, as you said, it's very big, and it has from kindergarten to high school and library. And next year on September, we're planning to open the whole school for only kindergarten until grade 4. 2 different classes for life skill and vocational training for 18 and above, and for 10 to 18. The life skill is for kids who didn't go to school from during their age. Yeah, so they can get a chance to learn other things, but not the normal way, but yes, in the other way. And the vocational is for adults that are above 18, so they can go straight to work after they get their training here. We already started. We have a shop around Yekka, Megananya Kifle Katama, and these are adults above 18. They're already working, employed under Deborah Foundation. There are 10 of them, and they have their own uniform, they have their ID, and they get salaries from the Deborah Foundation. So
it's just them.
Just them.
That's so beautiful. You see, because I feel like that's one way, because if I just happen to walk into there, they are the ones that are going to be greeting me and helping me in selling. So that's one way of actually slowly putting them into the society.
And we also ask everyone who has any business so that they can take them. We don't want them to stay there. We want them to grow. This is like a training, a pilot program for them, but they're still getting salary to help them and their parents. So we want anyone who has a business so they can work somewhere else.
Anywhere.
They can start their own business. They're very good and very good listeners. They're very trustworthy. They don't steal. They are very honest, and they're beautiful. Oh, and I forgot to tell you about the pediatric center we're also opening here. So this will be like the first kind of, and it's going to be here. It's going to be great. Yes.
That's very good news. How long has this school?
It's been 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
And how many students do you have?
For now we have more than 41 students, but next year we're planning to have around 200 students.
You have good staff? Everything is fulfilled?
Yes, it's going good, but by then we already have staff getting their masters in Haramaya and Jimma University. We have partnership with them. They're the ones that's gonna come on September and be there for the kids. Yes.
So what is it that they go to school for?
It's around intellectual disabilities and special needs education, how to teach these kids and everything. And on summer, we're going to start a training for teachers here in Lagat Afo for the September. We're going to train them. A module is being made at Harama University and Kotabe Educational University. We're going to collaborate and teach these teachers on how to teach these kids, because we're going to be hiring on
more people.
Yes, more people, and this people are not exposed to children's even if they learn, even if they have the degree, they've not been working with kids directly. So this summer is going to be a training session for all the teachers.
Somehow I feel like you are basically starting the road as a country, even as a country, because I think I saw an interview when the school was opening. You had one doctor that was specifically talking about Down syndromes. And I have a feeling she's the only doctor, she's the only one that works at the Quran Bassa, and she was saying that she sees at least 250 children a month, all by herself. So is there a way that as a country we should know, and doctors should actually, because I have a feeling you have to be an expertise in this line of work. You can't just be a doctor and then come and help them.
Yes, I think there are in private hospitals, there are doctors, but the parents don't afford it. The ones that are registered here, they're usually their economic status is not very good, so they can't go to private hospitals and meet these doctors. So I think
but there are doctors.
There are doctors.
Okay,
yes,
that's good to know.
Yes, there are doctors in private hospitals that can help, that are very knowledgeable in this area. It's became good now. It wasn't like this like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It was not like this.
So all this is new since Deborah came.
Yes, a lot of things are new. Even taking your children out, it happened because of Deborah, because my father did that, as he had that status on the government. He's not embarrassed to show his children. I shouldn't. Parents keep saying that I'm not embarrassed, so they keep on bringing their kids, they keep on taking them out to the park and everything.
Yeah, I think it starts with parents being okay with the children that they gave birth to.
True.
because there's a lot of stigma.
True.
This is one, and I've actually been exposed to the little people, and I've heard of all the things that they go through because people don't understand that this wasn't a choice, and that it is a problem.
Yes.
So I'm thinking the same happens to children of Down syndrome, if not worse.
Yes, worse.
So how do we teach our society that they're fine? They're okay. The only thing that we need to do is educate them, teach them, as well as teach ourselves. Because I think that's very important.
Yes, that's true. So our first awareness creation program is March with Deborah. We do it yearly. It's on World Down Syndrome Day. And this day, a lot of kids with Down syndrome, even adults, kids, they go out and they play. Like it's a day for them. So this type of programs help educate people because people don't think there are that many kids with Down syndrome, and at that day everything is very comfortable for these kids. Parents can sit and enjoy the day while our staff can watch over their kids. They can run around, eat ice cream and everything. And this type of awareness creation programs can help educate people and the society. And even parents are very scared to take their kids to the park because other parents think it's contagious, or they think that their kids are going to the Down syndrome kid is going to hit the other kids. Then they don't do that. They even hug you and kiss you. They don't hit people. So parents shouldn't be scared to take them to the park. They could, and other parents should not be like that. Other parents should even help. Should even ask, "What should I help?" So because it's very hard to raise a child with Down syndrome, and they should even teach their kids that about parents should send their children here to volunteer so they can see these kids, so they can know about Down syndrome. And even when they meet another child with Down syndrome, they would know how to treat him and how to be his friend.
Just to understand properly, because I know a lot of people, when children have autism, they actually put them in normal school so that they will grow normal. So can you do that with a Down syndrome children? Can you mix them with other students?
Yes. So when we open the school, it's going to be inclusive. So one classroom, there's going to be 10 normally developed children and 5 Down syndrome kids. So there will be 2 normally developed children for 1 Down syndrome child, so they can live in this. They can live in the society, and even when you send them to work, they won't be scared if they're already around kids. So that's the plan when we open the school on September. And we also want every other school to open their parents. There are parents that can pay and teach their children, but schools won't accept their children. They take their normally developed children and they say no to the children with Down syndrome. So we are also working on as I said earlier, on policy advocacy, so that schools and everywhere and every door can be open for children with Down syndrome.
Yeah, we can't discriminate. How can a child diagnosed with Down syndrome enjoy a healthy life in Ethiopia?
So the first step is to do regular checkups, because they have thyroid problem, heart problem, and they usually have health defects. So the first thing is regular checkups. The second one is therapy. There aren't many places that give therapy, but we also have therapy here. We give free therapy at our headquarters and also here. So the second one is therapy. And the third one are parents. They should speak to them like they're normal. They should act like they're normal. If a child with Down syndrome makes a mistake, they should tell them, no, this is a mistake. They shouldn't treat them differently from the other. Yes, they shouldn't be spoiled.
So just treat them like a normal baby.
Yes, and they can lead a normal life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's very important, by the way.
Yes, we did with Deborah. She has younger brothers. I have younger brothers. The more she's with them, the more she became more active. The more she could talk, and then we treat her equally with them. Yes, we don't spoil her, and this made a lot of difference in her ability to do anything.
What can parents expect in terms of their child's potential and future development? This is going to be for parents that don't have that extra. They have to somehow be able to maneuver in what they are able to do.
Yes. So parents should educate themselves on even reading any. If you can Google anything, they can get anything on any information on these kids, and everything is helpful online. So the first thing is to read and read and read, and then you can make a lot of. The first person that can make a difference is parents, not teachers, not anyone. If parents are very good at home, like doing activities with the kids, making them walk and teaching them anything, like you have to go a mile upper, then you have to work harder for these kids. It won't be easy, but they can make a lot of difference. Parents are the ones that are going to make a lot of difference.
Suleiman Ahmed Safara. He's from Ertra.
It's a nice song.
Yes, it's a beautiful video.
The beat is very nice.
This is a little hard. When do you think comprehensive care and education for disabled children will not be rare to find in Ethiopia? This is just your opinion.
In my opinion, maybe 10 years. 10 years.
It would be nice if it was sooner, huh?
Yes. Yes. I was going to say 5 years, but 5 years is very early since...
It is. It's right around the corner.
Yes. And if there are more centers like this, if people open more centers like this, it would be 5 years. But even if the government is working on the policies, it would make change. There would be a lot of change now soon, but there aren't any change now. There are schools that say they accept kids with disabilities, with intellectual disabilities, but when they take them in, they don't teach them. They just make them sit around the corner and they play and everything. So parents don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to pay for their kids to sit down. Even if schools are working harder to accept children with intellectual disabilities, I think there would be more difference sooner. But right now, it's very hard for parents that can pay and for parents that cannot pay. It's the same right now.
So I'm trying to understand. I'm sorry. So
no
as
worries.
a country, we don't have any facility.
No, there are facilities. Not only Down syndrome, we also accept other intellectual, but we mainly focus for children with Down syndrome. But there aren't facilities like this one. There's Gudina Tumsa, Fikr La Ethiopia. We work together with them on some
so
occasions. Yes.
Brilliant.
But it's not as big as this one, and it's not as organized as this one. And this one is on a higher level. It's beautiful. When we want everything to be beautiful for these kids, this is what they deserve, not some not some ugly places. And people think that's okay for them because they don't talk, they don't say anything, but they know when a place is beautiful and they know everything. Yes, when they come here, they don't want to leave, they don't want to go home because they even like the greenery, the grass, the trees and everything. So this is what they deserve, not some old place. So.
Some dingy little place.
Yes.
No. Yes. Does Ethiopia have specialized doctors for Down syndrome?
I don't know. I'm not going to answer yes, surely, but there are doctors that know more about Down syndrome, like parents. There are places where you can take your children and they can tell you. There are doctors where Dibora goes and they know a lot about Down syndrome, but I don't know if they're specialized in Down syndrome or not, but they know a lot about Down syndrome and they can help a lot.
We don't have a reliable study in our country, but in our hospital, for example, from my experience, I see about 250 Down syndrome patients, children with Down syndrome every month.
How many people do we have with syndrome? And we don't even have one doctor.
And there aren't even data that are accurate data. They say 11% are disabled. This includes
exactly.
visual
and
not
Thank you.
And we can't help anyone if there aren't any accurate data. And we can't address the problem if we don't even know how many kids are in the rural areas, and even in Addis Ababa.
In Adash also, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Many people with Down syndrome in Africa face low life expectancy, abuse, stigma, segregation, and limited life opportunities, both as children and adults.
That's true.
How can we change that? And I think everything we've talked about is basically educating the society and also as a country or as a continent, since we're talking about Africa. Because I don't think it's just special to just our country.
Even for adults, they can just accept them to come to work and the low life expectancy, that could be changed if there are medical checkups, regular checkups and everything. That could help on the low life expectancy. But the other part, like the stigma, the segregation, everything, that could be fixed by policies. Like you have to have, if you have a business or if you have a company or a factory, like hiring a child with an adult with Down syndrome could be mandatory, and this could help in
them integrating in the
yes,
society.
in the society. And even in schools, like if there are rules that you can't open a school if there isn't any special needs class. If there are rules like this, I think it would make a lot of difference. Even in factories, if you don't have any Down syndrome person they're hired there, you can't open the factory. If there are rules like this, I think it would make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, what we need to do, even people that are in the media, people on radio, TV, this is something that needs to be said over and over again.
That they are normal, they can do anything, they can work, they can even do movies, they can sing, they can act, they can learn, they can do anything. Yeah. In other countries, they go to work like they get married and have normal
children,
kids. Yes, so it's very okay now.
Brilliant. So, since we've finished our lovely discussion, you as a closing, so what would you like to tell them?
So I would like to say you can come visit us here at Deborah Foundation. Our headquarters is in Bole, and the school is, the facility is located in Legat Afo. We have volunteer programs, we have memberships. You can come and be with the kids, enjoy with the kids, and for parents and families with Down syndrome, with children with Down syndrome, they are beautiful, they are lovable. Don't worry, life becomes easier and easier as it goes on, as they grow up, and everything becomes easier, and everything's going to change, everything's going to be good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is your Pan-African show called Afreeqa. This is your host, Katsalawork Sefu. We thank you for tuning in. Till we see you next week. Thank you again.